The ugly, the shameful, the dark. Oh, nobody wants to look at that kind of stuff. And yet we know that there's no enlightenment without facing your shadow stuff. They're so shameful. They're terrible. Who wants to be exposed to that, even to yourself? But that's what's called for if you're on the spiritual path, to be brave enough and courageous enough to look into your own shadow stuff. And here's an example for myself. I mean, anyway, a long time ago, in the midst of making films, Star Wars came out. Wow, what a terrific film, right? The stunning visuals, new, never been seen in the world. And they talked about the Force, spiritual things, which I was very akin to. And so part of me just loved that film. And part of me felt very disgruntled, like, what about me? What about my film? That jealousy, envy. And then part of me started beating myself up, like, oh my God, here I am in the spiritual path and now I'm filled with envy? Like, how shameful, how dark. Anyway, but I knew enough that if I'm on the spiritual path, boy, this is the very stuff you have to face. So I really looked at it. I had to feel my shame and my self-pity and whatever, all that ugly stuff that you have been hiding all your life, even from yourself. Okay, so then when I looked at it, and then, all right, that shame, once I addressed it though, then it started to shift into other things. And pretty soon it was like grief, why can't I get my success, all that. Anyway, but it keeps changing. And then after grief, there was this kind of wonderment, because I realized all of a sudden that even when let's say I had done Star Wars and it's so successful and in every which way, and I would not be happy, because that's not the kind of film I really wanted to do. I wanted to make art. I don't care about the fame. I mean, the fame and the money and all that is wonderful, but it's secondary. The real thing, I had a passion about art, and I wanted to make mystical adventure stories, which are all my films. You can find them on YouTube, by the way, under Zen Tales for the Urban Explorer. But anyway, my idea of a mystical adventure story, because let's say Star Wars has some of that element. However, the criteria I set for myself is that anything I talk about, super ordinary, anything, has to be based on direct experience. Oh my God, that's a whole different lifestyle. Hence, I went to Himalayas and practiced for 10 years over this and that, just to get these experiences. So I felt allowed to put them in my film. And that just saved me. So address your wounds. You will turn into a better person.